So today, we're going to talk about a different kind of haunting. It's not about old houses or spooky spirits. Nope. This one is way more personal. It's about your professional identity. Welcome to the story of the Resume Ghost.
Seriously, just let that sink in for a minute. Everything you've worked for, every job you've ever wanted, every connection you've ever made, suddenly it's all at risk. But the person hitting apply isn't you. It's a ghost. Your ghost.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here. This idea of a professional haunting. It isn't just theft, it's sabotage. It's designed from the ground up to make you look desperate, sloppy, and just unemployable. So let's get into how this whole nightmare begins.
So how does something like this even start? Well, it's not with a big explosion. It's way quieter and honestly a lot more confusing. It starts with a trickle of emails. Okay, so imagine you're a tech worker. Let's call him Alex. One day, he gets a rejection email for a job he's never even heard of. He just deletes it, probably spam, right? But then, another one shows up, and another. And that initial confusion starts to morph into this quiet, creeping dread. Something is definitely wrong. The real red flag for Alex is a rejection that says he's not a cultural fit for a role he never applied for. And he never even had a screening call. I mean, how does that even happen? So he does what we all do. He goes online, and he finds a forum where another professional is describing the exact same thing. And that's the moment it clicks. Someone, or something, is out there pretending to be them, spamming the market with a twisted version of their resumes.
It turns out the victims weren't just dealing with some random scammer. Oh no, they were the targets of this incredibly sophisticated, weaponized service. Let's take a look at the ghost in the machine.
At the heart of this whole attack is something we're calling a resume doppelganger. It's basically a digital twin. Think like a 95% perfect copy of you, but it's built for one reason and one reason only: to flood the job market and just absolutely obliterate your credibility.
So how in the world is this doppelganger even made? Well, there's this platform, Career Mirror, that automates the whole thing. First, it scrapes all your public data: LinkedIn, personal websites, GitHub, you name it. Then an AI rewrites your work experience so it sounds just a little off, a little inflated, maybe a bit inconsistent. It then generates these kind of plausible but still flawed cover letters and just unleashes a firestorm of automated applications. To any recruiter, you just look totally unfocused and desperate.
And here's the craziest part. The deception is so simple, it's genius. The ghost doesn't have to hack your email. It just creates a new one that's one single character off from yours. You know, like adding a 1 at the end. It's so subtle, a busy recruiter would totally miss it, but it's enough to hijack all the communication and steal every opportunity right out from under you.
Okay, a weapon this sophisticated has to have an architect, right? I mean, who would even build a service that is purely designed to create professional anxiety for other people? Let's meet Megan Shaw. She's a former high-level corporate recruiter, which means she knows exactly how those applicant tracking systems, the software that filters resumes, actually work. She knows all the tricks to get a resume flagged and all the tricks to get one through. And her motive? It's as old as time, profiting from good old-fashioned professional jealousy. She actually sells this whole service as competitive intelligence. Unbelievable. So who buys a service like this? You might be thinking it's some huge corporation or a foreign rival, but no, the reality is so much worse. Her clients are your coworkers. They're anxious mid-level employees who see a more talented colleague as a threat to their own career. For a fee, they can hire Megan to introduce noise and doubt into their rival's job hunt. It's this deeply personal, insidious kind of corporate warfare.
Now, the victims are under attack, but they're not just going to sit there and take it. They decide to fight back. They start laying a digital trap to catch their ghost.
You know, every villain leaves a trace. And Megan Shaw's was this tiny, almost analog habit in a digital world. See, the AI-generated cover letters were all unique, but they shared her personal writing quirk. She always used 2 spaces after a period. It's a total relic from her pre-digital days, and it was the fingerprint that was going to lead everyone right back to her.
So, with this one crucial clue, they could finally make a move. A cybersecurity consultant helped the victims set up a honeypot, basically a fake job listing with requirements that were perfectly tailored to one of them. And sure enough, the ghost took the bait. From there, they traced the application back to a payment platform, and they noticed a pattern: subscribers from their very own companies. So they confronted one of Megan's clients, a panicky coworker who immediately flipped, giving them access to the entire Career Mirror service.
So, the culprit's been identified, the service is exposed. The story should be moving toward a happy conclusion, right? Well, catching the ghost doesn't exactly mean the haunting is over.
Now, the legal system did have tools for this kind of thing. Megan Shaw was facing a whole slate of serious charges. Everything from straightforward fraud and identity theft all the way to violations of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act for all of her automated bots.
But there was no dramatic FBI raid here. The end for Megan was so fittingly corporate. She wasn't arrested in a dark alley, she was served papers at a co-working space, right in the middle of a demo day where she was pitching Career Mirror as some kind of legit, innovative HR startup. And the evidence against her? Her very own client records.
But here's the really tough part of this whole story. Even with Megan shut down, the reputational damage is just there. It lingers. The victims are now stuck in this super awkward position of having to explain to every single future recruiter that yes, that bizarre application you saw was from an impersonator. The ghost may be gone, but its shadow is still hanging over them.
And all of this leaves us with a really chilling final thought. In this digital world where our careers are basically defined by our online footprint, what happens when that footprint can just be hijacked, copied, and corrupted? It really forces you to ask, do we even truly own our professional identities anymore?